So let us get started. Introduction first. I'm Rafael from Graphics.
Juan Sorta HQ.
All right. Thanks for joining us on this session, how to prepare for a pop-up. And we're going to make this as interactive as possible. There's a chat box at the bottom. If you're familiar with Zoom, you know how to use this. Go ahead and include any questions or any comments that you have on that chat box. We have Paola behind the scenes, ready to take any questions. Any announcements that you want to start off with, or anything that you want to share?
I think a little bit background of how we got to this point and why we're doing this.
Okay.
So for my end of it, I've been doing going to fitness expos and setting up for the gym side of things.
Okay.
And one of the things that I have thought about, which is kind of the business that you're in, is the experience at the booth.
Yeah.
One for the customer and one for yourself. And the way that I think about the technical side, which is what we're gonna do today, and the other side, maybe I'll end with the intangible of how you envision your event going.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I think about every interaction that I'm gonna have, or I think what that interaction is going to be and what I want that person to take away, because that point of contact is the thing that we're all aiming for.
Yes.
Like, that's the most important spot that you're aiming for.
Absolutely.
So if you have not even the minimum, you don't even get the opportunity to have that conversation. So again, we're having this for the technical conversation, and on the time more the intangible stuff, kind of the building rapport and the opportunities to close on sales, essentially.
Absolutely. And I think you hit a lot of valid points there, right? Because I think that as business owners, and whether you're starting or you've been in it for a long time and now you're participating in pop-ups, right? I think the pandemic has taught us that we need to adjust. And adjustment takes a little while, but what we're trying to do on our side is trying to give you some key points so your prep time is less, right? You won't, from the first time that you're at a pop-up, you already kind of know what to experience. We're trying to give you those tips to kind of stay ahead of the curve a little bit. So with that being said, let's go ahead and start. We have a little slide show that we're going to kind of go on here.
Stop. Just please stop, dude.
And please mute yourself if you come in on the mic. All right, so today's session brought to you by Small Business Coalition and Graphics, how to prepare for a pop-up. So first of all, let's talk about what a pop-up event is, okay? A pop-up event is a temporary retail space. It's a fun way to introduce potential consumers to your company and your products or your service. One of the most important experiences there is for you can test new products, definitely want to generate sales. And from my experience, it's a great networking tool as well, because you can learn a lot from others. And of course, you want to spread the word about your company. So you're going to be a vendor at a pop-up. Now what? Have a few tips to start off with. Be on time. Please allow yourself enough time to set up. Think about the fact that you are going to be creating an experience for folks that are there, right? You want to make sure that you give enough time to set up, because if your pop-up starts at 11 a.m., trust me, people are going to be there at 10:30 trying to walk those aisles and trying to browse. And if you're not ready and you're still digging in boxes, digging in crates, hanging stuff up, you're not giving yourself an opportunity to kind of not only capture the sale, but even have a conversation with that client. What do you say, Juan?
Yeah, I think there's two things that I was thinking about there. One, depending on how long you've been doing pop-ups, and since this is more targeting newer people who are doing pop-ups, is there's probably going to be unforeseen things that you're prepared for.
Yeah.
Just an example, the parking for the vendors might be further away.
Yep.
You got to carry stuff. I would advise doing a run through of what your setup is going to be and not wait for the day up unless you get there super early and then maybe risk it at the same time. You also don't know other stuff. I remember at the Fit Expo, people were running around for like electricity.
There you go.
Other last minute things that you're not thinking about, that you won't know until you start to do it. The other part of that is your reputation and your brand as yourself at the pop-up to the organizer.
Yes.
So if you do a poor job, you might not get invited because that's also their business.
Yep.
Right. So if they can't trust you to be there on time and be part of the flow, it might affect you for future pop-ups.
Definitely.
The last one I'll kind of say is I would suggest going to other people's pop-ups to look what's in the area
Yeah.
and choose one that's appropriate for you. I've been talking about the Fit Expo, and the Fit Expo is a very high-end version of that, to where this is where you're more polished, you're more ready to be in front of a lot of traffic.
Yep.
Find something that you feel that is appropriate at your level. It's always really good to start small and you can climb big, as opposed to maybe trying to reach too high and then missing the mark on a lot. And now you got to recoup from that experience.
Absolutely. Agreed with every point there, specifically with, do a run through, be on time. A lot of times, like Juan says, you show up and you're expecting one thing, you're new to the location. You don't know what the organizer, where they're going to put you or whatever it is. A lot of times you do ahead of time, but sometimes, again, unforeseen circumstances, right? So be on time. Okay. Like Juan said, prepare. Make sure you have everything you will need, your displays, your tables, your hangers, your signs, anything that you need. And this is a very important one because of the fact that, if we're running around and we have, like I had an instance in one of our events where, we go and we have everything that we need, but we forgot our canopy, right? So now we're like, whoa, like, do we leave everything here? Do we do it without a canopy? Everybody has a canopy except us. So somebody had to run back, get the canopy, come and set up. And, we almost couldn't do it because the event was already going on and they didn't want it to seem like, oh, they got like a late person coming in and doing it. So all these things can happen, especially because you're probably excited and it's your first time going. So make sure you do a whole run through and prepare. And of course, call attention, include something eye-catching, maybe like a spinning wheel, like, you're raffling something off, and then be ready to meet and greet. I think that these events have to be interactive because you're not the only one there. It's a very busy, crowded event. There's multiple booths and people are just kind of walking by. I think something to call attention for them to come to your booth is definitely a plus. Anything to add?
I think we're probably going to go to it, but as a side note, is like the minimum things required.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
That we're going to need. Right. I think we'll hit it in a second.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. So the tips to prepare for a pop-up, okay? Events are usually held at a remote location. So be sure to have comfortable shoes. And I know that seems pretty basic, but you're going to be on your feet 6, 7, 8, 9 hours at some of these events. Make sure that you're comfortable. I know, everybody likes to look good and maybe you want to wear the new kicks and all that stuff, but make sure you're comfortable. Have some chairs in case you do get some downtime when you're going to have lunch or something so you can sit. Think about the fact that you are going to be at a remote location. There's not too many places unless you like to sit Indian style. I mean, that's on you, but I always say carry maybe like a little stool or something like that. This one is very important. A mobile charger or a power bank for your devices. Now, everybody's using Venmo, Zelle, Cash App, and all these things to collect money. If you don't have your phone that's charged, okay, you're not going to be able to charge anybody. You're going to be able to sell anything. And also to be able to create content, right? We're all very social media heavy. We want to, record the experiences, take pictures, things of that sort, and something, again, that seems very basic, but a lot of us forget, and me included, is bags for your customers to carry your items, right? If you're selling something, make sure that you provide something they can carry, because they're not just going to stop with you and stop going anywhere else. They're going to have other things. Bags are definitely a necessity.
I will add some snacks as well.
There you go. Absolutely. Absolutely. Because Juan doesn't like to share. So, if you see him at a pop-up and he's eating something, you're on your own.
I'm too big to share. Yeah.
All right, let's go for the next one. So be ready to sell. I think that this one has to be kind of very, very top of your list. Okay. If I was to ask everybody in the room right now, how much cash you have in your pocket?
Zero.
Everybody here is zero, right? And if I have like $3, I'm gonna be honest, but it's one of those things where you can't expect people to have cash anymore. Because another thing is, if they pull out a 20 and you don't have the change, now you're gonna be stuck. Everybody's using, Zelle, Venmo, or whatever other application you have to have cash. So have your preferred payment available. A lot of us don't have everything. A lot of us prefer one. So maybe follow a little bit of the guidelines on the slide. Maybe take a picture of your QR code, right? Or have it ready to show. Just be ready to do that, okay? Have your business cards or your flyers with your business information. Just because somebody's not going to do business with you at that pop-up that particular day doesn't mean that they don't have an interest with doing something with you in the future. Make sure you have something that identifies your business, that has your social media handles, your cell phone, your website if you have one. Things like that are going to not only help you create a following, but they're also going to have some, when I get home from these places and I have like 6 or 7 business cards or flyers and this and that, I'm like, damn, you know what? Let me go look on social media. Let me see what they have. Let me see, it's because I might not want to spend there, but I think it's a good idea for a gift or something down the line. And of course, your social media handles visible. Maybe print them out, put them on your tablecloth or on a flyer. Because right now, everybody is doing social media. This is the way that we're finding out where things are happening, how things are happening, and what people are selling what. So make sure you have that.
So for this, I wanted to, especially for those of you starting, I would suggest really thinking about if the product or service that you're selling is visible and easy to see. Meaning that I've seen at times vendors get very excited. I want to show you this. I want to show you this. I want to show you this. And because you're so sporadic, you like don't know what to do.
Yeah.
Almost. Make it very easy to know what your booth is about and how to buy it as fast as you can. The other thing I would add to the social media thing, I was going to ask you a question. Immediately when you go to that person's or that company's social media, in about how many seconds does it take for you to make basically a judgment call?
Maybe about 3 seconds, 4 seconds at the most.
Very fast, right?
Very
so
fast.
Things that to consider with matching your booth, QR code, or any of the print is using branding uniform across all those things. If it's off and if it's hard to find, you lost your customer. Think about when you go onto someone else's page, how long you take to judge them. Either you're in or you're out in less than 5 seconds. The easy things are like, are your fonts the same? Do you have a primary, secondary, similar colors, or is it all over the place? Is it your name and then your business is the same thing or different, and then your website is something else?
Yeah.
Is it congruent? So it's things that are very simple, but also to think about, because it's a split-second decision to where you either get or lose a customer.
Big time.
So some other things to consider.
Yeah, and and just to kind of piggyback on that comment there, like let's say make sure that your logos reflect social media, on your pop-up and whatever it may be. I run into a lot of businesses, we have a print shop, so we deal with businesses all the time where they have a logo on their website, a different logo on social media, and they're printing a different logo on their business card. And sometimes that just doesn't make sense. So make sure that you guys like Juan said, something congruent so that we can tell where we're at and what we're looking at and that it all matches. So I think that's a great point. Tip jar? Okay. Yeah. A tip jar would be a good thing, especially if you're doing a service-based product. So definitely, a tip jar is a good idea to have if you're doing something service-based or food or something like that. Setups. Okay, here's a couple of examples of some of the setups that are possible for you to do at a pop-up. You can have a branded canopy, a tablecloth, a table runner, banners, and of course, how are you presenting your product? I know you had something to say about that earlier, where it has to be accessible, right, Juan?
Yeah. So if we look at these businesses that we have in front of us, and you think about your business or someone else's business, and I'll use mine specifically since it's a gym, is what type of business do you have and what do you need to do in order to display it?
Yeah.
For example, again, for the gym, it's a very personal thing and it's a very touchy thing.
Yep.
Just because the cueing and the coaching and the movement and the mechanics. For my type of thing, if I was going to set up something where I'm demonstrating or coaching something, I'm not having a table block my setup.
There you go.
Right now, I look at these and these are appropriate table setups to where if I would block myself out of the person and create a divider during normal times, then I'm going to lose the possibility of better interaction.
Yep.
Just because of the nature of what my business is.
Yeah.
Right. What we've done in the past at Fit Expos is demonstrate movement, and we're touching, we're cueing, we're moving body, we're moving hips. We're doing what we do at the gym. Right. So I need the space to do that. Now, if yours is product and you need to demonstrate it, have it accessible to people can touch it.
Yep.
Right. They want to touch it where they want to wear it. The food one is appropriate, just the menu and how it's set up. You need a little mini kitchen of how your food is.
Yeah.
So think about the experience of what your service or business is, and is that reflected in your setup?
Absolutely. I think that those are all great points. Give yourself, I think that people visit these pop-ups, to have an experience, right? Not just to go and see a product, because if not, they would just go to the mall or something like that. They want to come out and support something that's either homegrown or something that's going on, that's new, maybe not as easily accessible. So make sure that you feed that experience. People are coming to see you guys. People are coming to, like Juan said, feel the product, get a demo or whatever it may be. So make sure that you guys, tend to go towards that side where you guys aren't kind of like, okay, well, you know what? My stuff is behind glass and I'm not going to be able to touch it. And you want to give them a good experience with any product or even food service. Make sure that you guys think about that.
I think I'll add I think the person that's going to farmers markets or pop-ups also enjoys the story behind the people running the business.
Big time.
Right. And I
Big
think that's
time.
very important.
Yeah.
And I would encourage people to go out and to tell a little bit about your
Yeah.
story. Ask questions to that person. Like, how long have you been doing this? Is this a family thing? Is this a brother, sister? Is this a husband, wife? I think people really enjoy hearing the part of that process as well. They really connect instead of, hey, let me just go to Target and just grab this thing instead.
I agree 100% on that one. Your setup. If you need tables, you need tablecloths or table runners, banners, signs, displays, your chairs, and your attention grabber. These are some of the things that you need to know if your organizer is going to be giving you tables, chairs, or if you have to bring your own. Make sure you have enough for all your products and displays. Your tablecloths and your table runners. Make sure you make your tables look nice. They can be branded, they can be plain color, but make them look nice, make them pop. Your banners and your signs. If you have a banner that you're going to put your logo on with your website or social media, any signs that you might have, including your payment methods or social media, or even pictures of other products that you might not be able to display there. Of course, your displays, if you're selling clothing, if you're selling anything like purses or jewelry, the displays are a big, big plus if you have some nice ones. Chairs, of course, for you to get a little rest. Or let's say, for example, sometimes, believe it or not, people are looking at a certain table and there's people that are like sitting there waiting so they can kind of get in front, right? Because these places aren't like big.
Yeah.
So you'll have like 2 or 3 people talking to the person and the person will be sitting there or standing there waiting and they kind of get a little bored. I noticed that some people put up like little chairs on the side so people wait until these people leave because they're on their feet too walking around, right?
Yeah.
So if you put a little chair for like maybe somebody to kind of sit down, like don't put like a big waiting area, but maybe put like a little chair so somebody can sit down and then say, hey, you know what? Give me like 2 minutes and then you can take a seat. Something like that, just to be welcoming, can actually work as well.
Yeah.
And then, of course, your attention grabber, whether it be something that you're giving away, like let's say, for example, with us at Stella Graphics, we really don't sell anything on the spot. What we do is, we have samples. So I have sample packs with like imprinted pens. We do like the imprinted mugs. We give away samples so that people can take with them. So when they come up, I talk to them or Ceci talks to them and they're like, hey, you know what? Here's a sample pack so you could get an idea on some of the products that we make. So we have all that stuff laid out. So it's definitely helpful.
What would you suggest the minimum required for first-time person?
I would say definitely something with your logo or your brand. So I would say, if anything, a little table runner that you can put in front of your table on top of a tablecloth, or you can get a full color tablecloth as well. Because I think that that's the first thing that catches your eye when you're walking up to a booth, right?
Mm-hmm.
That would be the first thing. And then maybe like a tabletop banner or like a sign of some sort that kind of pops as well, that stands on the table. That way, when people are walking up, not only are they seeing your brand, but then they're looking up and they're saying, okay, this is what they do. Like even with us, we have very simple displays. We just have the thing that has our social media, and then we have another one that kind of has a special on it with a table runner. So I don't think, if you want to invest more as you go, you don't have to have it all from the very beginning. But at minimum, at least the table runner and some sort of tabletop display to kind of get your items there. And of course, depending on the product, you do want to have recognition or brand recognition on the stuff as they take it. So brown labels, any kind of stickers that you're putting on the bags or even on the actual items that you're selling, it's key. That way they remember where they got it from.
Yeah.
We do a lot of that, especially for our vendors that are doing, personalized events. or personalized items for example, my sister does a cheesecake. She has this little circle sticker with her logo on it, social media tags, right?
Yeah.
Empanada Boys do the same thing, which is one of the vendors that has participated a few times. They have their logo, social media tags. So things like those, and they're very economic as well. A lot of people, if anything, I would advise that if you have an idea or need help, kind of a little guidance on, hey, what, I sell this, what do you think we should do? That's what we're here for. We like to consult on, hey, we should do it like this, cost effectiveness, because we're all, we all start, we all don't want to spend a ton of money, but it's definitely, we want to put you in a position to succeed. So we're going to suggest whatever we think is going to be good.
So what are some of your favorite ones?
But as far as items that they take, or
yeah, for you, yeah,
or for like what I do,
yeah, or items like, for example, I like stickers. I make silly stickers.
Yeah.
So when you see it, you're like, what are you doing, Juan?
There you go.
Guess what? You're gonna put it up, and that's mine.
There you go. See, like with us, for example, what we do here at the shop, everything that leaves the shop has a sticker with our social media, with our information, and we've actually gotten repeat business from that.
There we go. Yeah.
Let me tell you a story. I had a guy, he calls me and he says, hey, is this Stella Graphics? And I said, yeah, and he's like, you know what? I got some business cards and my box is empty and I don't remember where I ordered them from. And then I turned the box over and the sticker was there. So that's why I'm calling you. This is like 4 years later. You know what I'm saying? And that's why it's important to create that.
What's funny? We were talking about this with Paula earlier, the power promotional tools.
Yeah.
That one sale paid for all the stickers that
Exactly.
you did that 4 years ago.
Exactly. And not even to go that far. Like today, and on our Instagram story, there's a guy that picked up an order and now we're putting thank you cards in there.
Yeah.
So he thought it was a cool gesture for him to open up his box and see that there's a thank you card, and he posted it on the story and tagged us, great service, this and that. That's the kind of stuff you want, right?
Yeah.
So, we have a little saying here that if a thing is leaving the shop, you got to tag it and you got to bag it, right? You're putting in a bag with the logo, you're putting the sticker on it. So you tag it and bag it before it leaves. That's the way that we work that stuff right there.
And the little things that matter.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. So now it's event time. All right. You got to have energy. You got to meet new people and you got to sell your items. So, and number one, to me, have fun. If you're not having fun with what you're doing, what are you doing, right? We talked about that with Juan the other day. It's like, man, no matter what I'm doing, I'm going to have fun, right? You're going to like, if you're at the gym, you're going to have fun. If you're riding your bike down the street, you're going to have fun. If you're, talking shit, you're going to have fun. It's just what we do.
Well, if you think about what is the result that's going to happen if you sit behind your table? At the end of the day, when you have no sales or a sale, what is that going to feel like? You can't afford to do that. And the time and energy put to get to a physical location in front of people is a lot.
Yeah.
Right. So why not make that opportunity worth it? There's people there. That's the thing that you were aiming for in the beginning. And from my seat, I really don't care if you don't enjoy not talking or talking to people.
Yeah.
Like that's part of your business. And I would suggest, one, for the growth of yourself and the growth of your business, really fighting to go talk to people.
Yeah.
I'll say the silliest things just to go ice break. Or just think of like, you have nothing to lose. You're still stuck at the same spot if you don't do anything, or if people think you're being silly.
Absolutely.
And it kind of breaks the ice, and you get to know each other a little bit better, and you get to grow in an opportunity. And I would mostly go to technical difficulties.
No, you're good. We're still on.
I would mostly go to, I forgot, I lost my train of thought.
Ice breaking, talking to people.
Oh, getting to know people rather than selling.
Yeah.
So have a conversation.
Yeah.
Really get to know someone instead of like, hey, here's a free membership, buy my membership, contract, blah, 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 which gyms do. And get to know the person, get to know their actual needs, and see if there's an opportunity. Not every person is going to be a customer.
Yeah.
But you practice building rapport by the things that you say and the energy that you approach people with. There was one terrible time. I was LA Galaxy intern and I had to go around surveying people. Do you know how much people enjoy being surveyed? They do not like being surveyed.
Absolutely not.
And it was terrible. But I look back at moments like that where I was forced, like I had to do, I don't know, like 50 surveys a game.
Mhm.
So I would walk around the whole stadium. To the credit that I have now, to like maybe the confidence or the lack of anxiousness or nervousness about going to talk to someone,
Absolutely.
right? Because those are the interactions that are gonna help you. And as you get better at them, you'll start finding more business flowing.
Big time. And, I read an article a few years ago, and I still bring this up, once in a while with like, people that I talk to and even on social media, that said that, believe it or not, 75% of your inner circle doesn't have an idea what you do for a living.
Mm.
Right? So and then I started thinking, I'm like, man, you know what? I had all these uncles and aunts growing up, and I was already like a teenager, and I knew they were working. I had no idea where or what they did and none of that stuff, right? So now when I meet somebody, it's like, hey man, this is what I do. This is what I like to do. Like you said, you get to know people, right? And I think a lot of times when you're starting business, you want to turn everything into a sale, not understanding that specifically like at a pop-up event, this is not just an immediate sell now, but it's something that it can happen in the future. And that's why, the branding is important. The experience is important, because you might not feel like, buying that particular thing that day or tasting that particular food that day. But then guess what? Follow them on social media. Like with us, for example, when they come up to my booth, I say, hey, you have social media? Yeah. What's your Instagram? And I follow them, and guess what? Now they're following me back, right?
Yeah.
And you create a following that way. I mean, I know, like, let's say with you, like I always tell them, I'm like, man, sometimes I'm awake when you post up that black screen with like 3:30 a.m. And I'm like, oh shit, well, I'm awake too, right? But there's like some sort of connection there that makes no damn sense, but things like that,
I
you never
get
know.
lucky because I'm the first one to post, so I think it gets bumped up. That's my theory.
There you go. There you go. He's trying. He's testing the theory. But that's the thing. It's just about experience, and it doesn't have to be an immediate sell, like Juan said. Because those, I mean, how many people would you say that you've talked to? Like even me, bro. I mean, I already told you I'm not going to your gym yet. I'm not ready. But eventually I'll get there, right? And I'm sure it happens to you where you talk to people and they're like, all right, I probably won't see this guy soon, but eventually, hopefully, I see him, right?
Yeah. Well, I was talking to Paul about this. Like the marketing that I do isn't like, hey, you're gonna get fit. It's just it has to come from the person. In the fitness industry, it has to come from the person.
Yeah, big time.
And what I think, this is a side topic, gyms do wrong, is they try to make up the lack of authenticity by putting all these restrictions around your membership.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. You're right. And that's the thing, right? I think that when you figure that out about your business, it kind of opens up a whole new, pretty much spectrum of how you're going to market it, and you're going to be successful. Now, with that, we're about to wrap it up. This is a recorded session, so you guys will be able to access this. Paola, you want to turn on your camera and make some announcements about the upcoming pop-ups?
We'll give you a second.
We'll give you a second.
Is there a chat?
Yeah, there's a chat right here. There's just one question. They just put
HD.
oh, that was me testing it. Yeah, Brody just put anything extra. You should have a tip jar ready. So yeah, if you have a business that you feel that tips would be something that you would like to receive, that's always a plus to add that there. That's all we have. If you have any questions or any follow-up on this, let me open it up. If anybody has a question, you can go ahead and unmute yourself while Paola gets ready to.
Or let's do this. If you guys want to type in what type of business that you have, and then maybe we can suggest from there.
Yeah. And if you guys, use the chat here and what kind of business you have, and maybe we can kind of go through some of the questions or anything that you guys want to chat about. We're here for
what has there been a pop-up where you messed something up, or what are some lessons learned?
I mean, to me, I think that that's kind of a hard question for me to answer, because I don't like, again, when I go to my pop-ups, it's more for marketing than for selling actual products, right? So I think the biggest blunder has been forgetting the canopy that one time. Other than that, like, my pop-ups or my events have been very, like, hey, make sure you have these flyers. Make sure with us, it's all social. I have to talk. I have to, and obviously I don't struggle too much with talking. But it's just getting, hey, like, what do you do? What do you need? Like, and then I make suggestions, right? Hey man, you should do this. Maybe we can do this for you. If you need this, we can take care of it. Things like that. And, and just kind of give you the ability to kind of do that. You want to take this one?
Oh, nice. Come hang out. Allison, have you done any pop-ups or any marketing what are some of the things that you have done? I hope she can hear this.
And you can either type it in or you can unmute yourself and participate.
We like interaction.
Yeah.
Hi guys, it's actually Nick.
Hey, Nick.
Oh, there we
Allison.
go.
Surface. But my question to you guys was, sometimes I have a hard time with people don't know exactly what athletic training is or what I do. And I have a hard time giving a clear message or printout or something that kind of concisely says what I can provide.
I think you've gotten better. I think in the beginning, that was the conversation we had. And the menu that you created gets there faster. I would, thinking off the top of my head right now, we could try and experiment taking mobile athletic trainer away and use a faster maybe set of words that gets the job done, right? Because if you're not in sports, then you're not going to know what you do. If you've played sports, then you know what you do, especially, or flip-flop, depending on what market you're going to. It can be as silly as the massage guy or the fix-up guy, right? Something that gets you to the thing that you do faster. And then you can go down and break down, well, I do all this other stuff, and then you could do your jam. But the easy getting people closer to you, I think is the challenge, and we can experiment with using different words for that marketing. Does that make sense?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and to add on to that, I mean, like, when you say, athletic trainer, I know that there's maybe people that, they feel, well, you know what, I don't really do anything too athletic anymore. Like I sit on my office chair, like, I've actually used Nick a couple of times, and and my injury is based on me sitting too much. Nothing to be, I mean, I'm an athlete, bro. I like to believe so anyways, but but you get what I'm saying? I think that not only the wordplay, but also making it more where, like, let's say just a conversation starter, like, are you stressed out, tight shoulders or something? And then it's like, okay, well, this is how I do it. And, kind of just to get people to approach. That would be my thing, right? Make it a little bit more general in a sense, but then just to get the conversation started, and then you let them know what, it is. Because I think a lot of people, it's like with me, right? Like when I'm walking by the mall and somebody's trying to offer me something, I'm like, oh, I don't want to talk to them. But if it's something general,
You gotta puff your chest out, dude.
no, like, dude, I wore a medium today, bro. But yeah, I think it would be something more like that, where maybe like it would be a little bit more to maybe broaden your market, at least verbally, but then you can kind of bring them in. This is what I can offer. I mean, that would be my advice.
I like the wordplay that Rafa was talking about, and maybe use common things, like a low back one is a very common one. And you can say like low back specialist, low back healer, and then it's basically clickbait them so you can have the real conversation with them.
Exactly.
I think what he's saying is true of like, you see athletic and you're like, well, I don't play sports, I'm gonna walk, I'm gonna keep walking, right? And that's not really not the only thing that you do.
Yep.
Especially since we're not at a setting where it's just a bunch of high school, college athletes.
Right. Exactly.
Yep.
Perfect.
But I think you're crushing it with having the tools out there and having that little menu.
Yeah.
And we just work with finding the wordplay that gets you the most amount of conversations.
Agree.
Yes. Thank you so much.
Cool. Thank you.
Anyone else have a question or want to interact?
Boom. Crushed it.
That's it. Good stuff. Paola. All right. We're going to have Paola join right now. There you go.
Hi. Oh.
Hold on.
Okay, so thank you everybody for joining us. Also, we're gonna have a pop-up event this Sunday in Hawthorne on 34th and Hawthorne Boulevard between 12 to 4 p.m. So please come out and join us if you're not already attending that event. We're also having one on March 14th, Sunday, 12 to 4 here at Stella Graphics. So stay tuned to that. Invite, share, and spread the word.
All right, guys. You know what? Let me do this real quick because that wasn't, I don't think that, that wasn't the last slide here. Let me just finish it up so you guys can have some information. So for more event info, follow Sort of Small Biz on Instagram. For printing and design, follow us, Stella Graphics. We've been collaborating with Paola and Juan now, and I'm enjoying the energy and everything that we're doing together and looking forward to the events that are coming up. I want to thank everybody for giving us a little bit of your time. And Juan, thanks, brother.
Thank you.
All right,
See you
Paola,
guys.
thank you. All right, have a good day, guys.
Ooh.